Tama. Oh yeah, hey Tama.
Good evening, football fans. My name is Patrick Seals, and welcome to the Week 2 edition of the NFL Remix, man. We just had a long week of some very tremendous, outstanding, stupendous, ridiculous, outstanding, nonchalant football games at every football game in the state of Georgia. You get what I'm saying? It was a lot of people getting hit, a lot of touchdowns being scored, a lot of fumbles being picked up, and we here to talk about it. That's right. So let's go ahead and jump right into it with the defending NFC champions. We got the Vikings taking on the Eagles, where the Eagles won 34-28. DeAndre Swift had 28 carries for 175 yards rushing. He was averaging 6.3 yards a carry and one touchdown, Mike. Devontae Smith had 4 receptions at 131 yards receiving and a touchdown. The Eagles had a barn burner of a game against the Vikings this past Thursday, man, where it looked like they was going to blow out the Vikings for a minute. But the Vikings are able to scratch and claw their way into it to make it look like a decent resembling game. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, the Eagles did blow them out, and the Vikings scored most of their points in garbage time. But they did enough to make it look like it was close on paper. But everybody who saw it live know exactly that the Eagles put the smack down on these Minnesota Vikings, man. I'm not going to lie. I was surprised to see that. Justin Jefferson is still being contained within the first 2 weeks of the season. And we have Devontae Smith looking like an elite wide receiver out there, man. And DeAndre Swift, let's talk about him. Georgia Bulldog, man. They said they was going to try and get him some more carries in this game, and it absolutely worked. My man had over 100 yards rushing, 6.3 yards a carry, and a touchdown, man. Whatever they did to get this man the ball and keep him moving forward in his career, they need to keep on doing it, man, because I love to see these Georgia Bulldogs just thrive out here in this NFL. All right, we got the Buffalo Bills taking on the Las Vegas Raiders, where the Buffalo Bills won 38-10. Josh Allen had 31 completions for 37 attempts. He had 274 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. James Cook had 17 carries, 223 yards rushing, and 7.2 yards a carry. Unfortunately, Devontae Adams did enter the concussion protocol, but it looked like he's going to be okay. The Buffalo Bills get back in their winning ways, man. Josh Allen bounces back after throwing 3 interceptions against the New York Jets in the first week of the season, where he throws 3 touchdowns against the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, I was telling my cousin Jakarta Seals that James Cook possibly needs to get traded or cut because he's not going to make it. He's not going to be an elite running back. But he proved me wrong today. He had over 123 yards rushing and 17 carries and averages 7.2 yards a carry, man. If James Cook continues to play ball like this, the Buffalo Bills will be in better shape than they have been the past 2 seasons. Josh Allen has been the person trying to do everything, making fumbles and interceptions, feeling like he has to do everything in the playbook to do because he doesn't have a running back. But fortunately, if James Cook can continue to run the ball like this, then they will be okay. Got the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Cincinnati Bengals, with the Baltimore Ravens 27-24. This was a division game. Lamar Jackson had 24 completions for 32 attempts. He had 237 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Unfortunately, Odell Beckham Jr. did lead the game with an ankle injury, and he did not return. Lamar Jackson is proving these people right, man. He's proving these people wrong, showing everybody that he is an elite running quarterback and a former MVP, man. They won a close game, a division game, 27-24. I don't know what's happening with Joe Burrow right now. Nobody knows what's happening with Joe Burrow. He got paid all that money, and he's looking very pedestrian out there. I'm going to blame it on his offensive line. His offensive line has been very, very terrible for the past couple years, and I think it's taking a toll on him, man. He's playing against the Baltimore Ravens, who absolutely are an elite defense at any level. I don't care what anybody says. John Harbaugh always has his team ready to play defense, get sacks, get interceptions, fumbles, the whole nine. Now, playing against the Baltimore Ravens, Joe Burrow, you're going to have to do better, man. Lamar Jackson is a beast. 27-24, man, a close divisional game. We got the defending Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs, taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars, where they won in the 17-9 tussle. Pat Mahomes had 24 completions for 41 attempts. He had 305 yards passing. He had 2 touchdowns and an interception. Fortunately, he was being backed up by an elite defense that has Chris Jones back on a 1-year deal. Kansas City Chiefs defense had 4 sacks and 4 tackles for losses, man. I'm not going to lie. They had Travis Kelce back and they had Chris Jones back, and they still won a close game. They only won by 8 points. The Jacksonville Jaguars would have put it off in a touchdown and scored a 2-point conversion. They would have tied this game up. And against the defending Super Bowl champions. Now, of course, Jacksonville Jaguars did play these guys in the playoffs this past season, but you expect more out of Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes, man. Pat Mahomes out here is a Super Bowl MVP, playing, winning, barely games. They just won. They lost last week against the Detroit Lions. They trying to get back in the win column against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they did exactly that. But I'm pretty sure a lot of Kansas City Chiefs fans would like to see them play a whole lot better and smoother. But fortunately, they do have a lot of key components back, Chris Jones and Travis Kelce. if everybody continues to stay healthy, a lot of teams in the AFC promise you would not want to play them late December, early January, man. It will be a long day for anybody who has to play them in those time frames. All right, the LA Chargers took on the Tennessee Titans, where the Tennessee Titans won another 27-24 game. Ryan Tannehill had 20 completions for 24 attempts. He had 246 yards passing and a touchdown. The Tennessee Titans defense had 3 sacks and 3 tackles for losses. Ryan Tannehill only had 4 incompletions in this game, man. Unfortunately, the LA Chargers start their season off 0-2, and everybody knows it's hard for an 0-2 team to make the playoffs. But the Tennessee Titans, they have a very, very tricky situation going on over there. Derrick Henry, I feel like, is edging out past his prime. I think that he's like on the edge of being in his prime. He's about to edge out of that. And they still have a terrible quarterback. Ryan Tannehill, I don't care what you say. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of Tennessee Titans fans out there who will very much agree with me. They will very much look for an upgrade in the offseason. I'll be looking for Malik Willis to be playing sometime in the later part of the season. But Ryan Tannehill is not the man to lead you to the Super Bowl. I'm here to tell you. The Tennessee Titans don't have an elite defense like that to supplement their sorry quarterback. I'm sorry. The quarterback he's probably in the same position Desmond Ritter is. Desmond Ritter probably can throw just as many touchdowns and interceptions as Ryan Tannehill can. All right, let's move on. We got the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Detroit Lions, where the Seattle Seahawks won in overtime 37-31. Geno Smith had 32 completions for 41 attempts. He had 328 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. It's team absolutely balled, man. Geno Smith is the catalyst for this team, and he's been able to pull it together. He looks like the quarterback of the franchise. Now, of course, this was a guy who was drafted in the second round by the New York Jets in 2013, who is finally making his way in his NFL career, man. He's had a slow start to his season, but as we can see, he's finally getting things rolling up there in Seattle. Pete Carroll's the type of person who will stick with a player and pull them out of the ashes of the fire. Now, of course, you know, the Detroit Lions, they had one of their players last week talking a lot of smack, telling the Detroit Lions fans to come to the stadium and blue shiesties because they was taking everything they deserved. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough for them to stop. They gave up 37 points on the day and then gave up the game-winning touchdown in overtime. So, Detroit Lions, you can't be out there talking this much smack and then let your team give up 37 points. That's just unheard of, man. You don't do that. You don't go out there, talk a lot of smack, and give up 37 points, man. That's not favorable for you to do to win your division. I'm sorry. Indianapolis Colts took on the Houston Texans, where the Indianapolis Colts won 31-20. Whew, boy, let's talk about this. So, the Colts defense had 6 sacks and 10 tackles for losses. Oh my goodness, this defense was all over C.J. Stroud, man. They was putting him underneath the turf. Unfortunately, Anthony Richardson did lead the game in concussion protocol. It will be a toss-up to see if he plays next week. I highly doubt that he will play because it takes it depends. Every concussion is very, very individualistic. It varies from person to person. So let's all keep our thoughts and prayers with this person, Anthony Richardson, as he starts his young NFL career. Okay, the Chicago Bears took on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won 27-17. Baker Mayfield had 26 completions for 34 attempts. He had 317 yards passing and a touchdown. His leading receiver, Mike Evans, had 6 receptions for 171 yards receiving and a touchdown. I've always been one to say, man, we are in a weak division, the NFC South. But I tell you what, this connection that I'm seeing between Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans is starting to scare me a little bit. I don't fear Kyle Trask, I'm going to tell you the truth. But I've always feared Mike Evans. Mike Evans has been an elite receiver for a while, over 6 feet tall, big playmaker, big hands, and can catch the ball at the highest point. Baker Mayfield, he's on his 4th or 5th team here, but he's still a former Heisman, man. When he's motivated to play a good game, he definitely can. He did this kind of adequately against the Chicago Bears. Granted, the Chicago Bears don't have the best defense in the world, but anytime you go out there and score 300, you put up 300 yards on any NFL team, that is something to take notice, man. And only having 8 incompletions on the day when you threw the ball for 34 times, that is something that a lot of defense will have to take notice of, man. Okay, the New York Giants got back in the win column against the Arizona Cardinals in the 31-28 win. Daniel Jones, it was a very, very pedestrian game. He had 26 completions for 37 attempts. He had 321 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. They finally score some points and get a W in the same day. After getting blown and shut out by the Dallas Cowboys last week, the Giants finally get back in the win column. And unfortunately, it looks like the Arizona Cardinals are going to be the bottom-ranked team in the NFL this year. They don't have Kyler Murray back yet. He's still on the PUP list. And of course, they cut Colt McCoy right before the season started. So I don't know who their quarterback is, but it doesn't matter because they didn't win. So I don't have to write down any stats from their team. This is how this works. Your team wins, I write down your stats and talk about it. Daniel Jones, you finally did what you're supposed to do. You got offered a big contract this offseason, and you put it to use. You scored 2 touchdowns, and you had over 300 yards passing. Another divisional game here. We got the San Francisco 49ers taking on the LA Rams, where the San Francisco 49ers won 30-23. Christian McCaffrey had 20 carries for 116 yards rushing. He was averaging 5.8 yards a carry and a touchdown. Close divisional game, man. Brock Purdy, he got a W on a close divisional rival, the LA Rams, and they won on the road. That is a tremendous thing to accomplish. You do not take that lightly in the NFL. Brock Purdy has a win on the divisional rivals on the road. Christian McCaffrey, of course, looking like the beast that he is. Over 100 yards rushing and 5.8 yards a carry, man. Christian McCaffrey, we're going to need to put some clamps on you. Luckily, the Falcons don't play the San Francisco 49ers this year, but I will sleep better knowing that the Falcons have a game plan if they do play you. All right, the New York Jets took on the Dallas Cowboys in their first game without Aaron Rodgers since him rupturing his Achilles in the Monday Night Football against the Buffalo Bills, where the Cowboys won 30-10. Dak Prescott had 31 completions for 38 attempts. He only had 255 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. His leading receiver, CeeDee Lamb, had 11 receptions for 143 yards receiving. CeeDee Lamb went off on the New York Jets, and the New York Jets had both one of the best secondaries in the NFL was Sauce Gardner. They have a good defensive line, and they were still able to put 30 points up on this vaunted New York Jets defense. The Jets, they have one of the best D-lines in football, and they still gave up 30 points. Sauce Gardner, he couldn't contain CeeDee Lamb. I do not like talking about the Dallas Cowboys, but when you do work and you do nasty stuff, you gonna get the words of encouragement from me. CeeDee Lamb, keep up the good work, young fella. 11 receptions for over 143 yards, man. That's something that I'm pretty sure you're very proud of. All right. The Washington Commanders took on the Broncos, the Denver Broncos, where the Washington Commanders won 35-33. Sam Howell is the quarterback for the Washington Commanders. He had 27 completions for 39 attempts. He had 299 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Now, of course, he was backed up by a very, very elite defense. The Washington Commanders had 7 sacks and 5 tackles for losses. Now, I'm going to be honest, man. I very, very much fear the Washington Commanders defense because they have a very, very strong defense. They had 7 sacks and 5 tackles for losses. I fear anybody who goes in to FedEx Field to play these guys on the terrible field and against that terrible defense. That defense is flying all over the place, and it can't be stopped. Sunday Night Football, another division game. We got the Miami Dolphins taking on the New England Patriots, where the Miami Dolphins won 24-17. Tua Tagovailoa had 21 completions for 30 attempts. He had 249 yards passing, a touchdown, and an interception. Raheem Mostert had 18 carries for 121 yards rushing. He was averaging 6.7 yards a carry and 2 touchdowns, man. He was out there balling with the ball in his hands. Unfortunately, Jalen Waddle did lead the game with a concussion, and he did not make a return because he has now been entered into the concussion protocol. Miami Dolphins continue to put up a W on the New England Patriots, showing the Buffalo Bills they have a run for their money when it comes to their division crown. Of course, New England Patriots are steady sinking and sinking to the bottom of the list. They still boast a very, very capable defense, but their quarterback situation is very questionable. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of New England Patriots fans who are out there questioning Mac Jones' ability to lead this team into the future. But as long as they have a strong defense and a Bill Belichick as their coach, I feel like it's just a matter of time before they get another quarterback and they're back in the playoff race. So I think everybody should be taking this moment to enjoy it while the New England Patriots on the sideline watching everybody else have all the fun, because for a long time they was out there destroying teams, and especially the Miami Dolphins in New England. The Miami Dolphins got a win in New England. I'm pretty sure they're going to continue to enjoy these moments because Tua is a boss out there, man, throwing the ball all over the place. But unfortunately, Bill Belichick doing what he does best, and that's taking away your best receiver, your best weapon. He did that by eliminating Tyreek Hill. I don't have his stats in front of me, but I'm pretty sure if I didn't write him down, he didn't go off. All right, we got the New Orleans Saints taking on the Carolina Panthers in another divisional game on Monday Night Football, where the New Orleans Saints won 20-17. Derek Carr had 21 completions for 36 attempts. He had 228 yards passing, no touchdowns, and 1 interception. And he was sacked 4 times. And of course, the New Orleans Saints had over 100 yards rushing. Carolina Panthers, we could have had this primetime spot. I'm going to be honest. Carolina Panthers starting their season off 0-2, where the Falcons start their season off 2-0, and they get a primetime spot. And tell me real quick, who was the superstar on their team? Is it Bryce Young? Are we gonna call him a superstar just yet? Is it Adam Thielen? It's not Adam Thielen. Who in the world is their superstar that people are just dying to see on Monday Night Football? And a doubleheader at that. We have a doubleheader of Monday Night Football, and they're going to put the Carolina Panthers on there with not now win on the season and not now superstar in their team. Who did the fans want to see in this game? Who was it? Because I can't even think of anybody on the Saints team. Derek Carr? Did anybody want to see Derek Carr? I doubt it. Moving on. Another divisional game on Monday Night Football. The second part to this doubleheader, we have the Cleveland Browns taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers, where the Pittsburgh Steelers won 26-22. Real quick, I want to take a moment to, let everybody know that Nick Chubb, former Georgia Bulldog, is forever and always will be in my heart, and I will be praying for a speedy, quick return on this fella. He had the same kind of injury that he had in Georgia, where I don't know what the medical prognosis was, but it didn't look good. It didn't look good. The commentators didn't even want to show the video of what happened. The fans gasped when they showed it on the Jumbotron in the stadium. So that injury, man, I'm just praying for Nick Chubb and hope he makes a speedy recovery. With that being said, George Pickens did have 4 receptions for 127 yards receiving and a touchdown. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense had 6 sacks, 9 tackles for losses, and they caused 4 turnovers. They had 3 fumbles and an interception. Pittsburgh Steelers defense is still looking like the defense of old with Mike Tomlin at the helm. TJ Watt, this dude is 27 years old. He's 27, 28, one of them. And he leads the Pittsburgh Steelers in sacks. Now, you have to sit and think about all the legendary Pittsburgh Steelers who've ever played football for the Pittsburgh Steelers and remember that stats didn't become an NFL official stat until the 80s. But still, TJ Watt leads this team overall in sacks. That is amazing, TJ Watt. George Pickens, Georgia boy right there. Another Georgia boy. Salute, doing big things out there. 4 receptions for 127 yards and a touchdown. Now, I'm pretty sure it's a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers out there who are not sold on Kenny Pickett yet. But I would say just give him time. Give him time. He's working a new system. He's a young quarterback trying to find his way in a rough NFL. He did face one of the toughest defense in the Cleveland Browns. And he came away with the W on Monday Night Football. All right, last team of the week is these birds right here. They won. I was there. I lost my voice. I felt I had to boo-boo after the game. Bijan Robinson is the fastest person I've ever seen play football. He had 124 yards rushing for 19 carries and averaged 6.5 yards a carry. And Desmond Ridder had 19 completed for 32 attempts. He only had 237 yards passing, a touchdown, an interception, and a sack. Desmond Ridder didn't have the best game this past Sunday. He could have started off a whole lot better. He threw his first pick on the NFL season. And he played like an inexperienced quarterback this past week. But he did do something that stood out in my eyes, and that's come back. He didn't get in over his head. He didn't fold in the moment. He stood tall, knew his position, knew his role, and executed to perfection. He scored a rushing touchdown on 4th down. I like the fact that the team trusts Bijan Robinson with the ball on 4th downs. He had 2 conversions on 4th down. It's tremendous to watch. Bijan Robinson, fast dude to play football, man. Fastest running back to ever play football. He broke 3 defenders' ankles in one play, and it was one particular play that I thought that he was going to take off. And from the position that I was sitting at in the stadium, it looked like he had pastures. He had fields. He had lanes. Only thing he needed to do was just outrun one defender, and that would have been a touchdown. But fortunately, we did win this game, and I got to see the Atlanta Falcons win. I got to see Bijan Robinson with my own 2 eyes, Desmond Ridder, the whole company. The only thing I'm worried about is I want to see how we're going to play when Cordell Patterson and Jeff Okudah comes back. The Falcons have the second deep pass defense in the league right now, and I'm over the moon for that. That's never happened to me in my fandom of the Atlanta Falcons. But I'm happy to see that the Falcons have one of the best pass defenses in the league. Let's see if we can continue this trend. When we get Jeff Okudah back, Jesse Bates, continue the ball out, man. Other than that, I'm Patrick Seals. Y'all tell me how y'all team did this week, because mine did great. We're 2-0. Let me know what you think about the season. I'm Patrick Seals. Y'all like, subscribe, share, comment. Let me know what you think. I see y'all when I see y'all, man. Peace! Whoa, what's up? Yeah, right. It's me, man. Patrick Seals. We ain't got no sponsors right now, but we working on that, man. We trying to do everything we can to get some sponsors, get some people to invest in this product. Yes, that's right. I do have my merch on sale right now. You can get a red Patrick Seals t-shirt, a black Patrick Seals t-shirt, and a white Patrick Seals t-shirt. You can also get some wristbands, $5 online. You can cash at me. You can do whatever you can to support and help me grow out my YouTube channel, man, because that's what this is all about. So if you know somebody who want to get some sponsors, want their product to be talked about, want somebody to do something fancy on the internet and make people buy their product, then come holler at your boy Patrick Seals.
Messi!